Good evening, friends, old and new, and welcome to tonight's Boys in the Baltic Star. Look, there's three of us. There's three of us here. And when three of us are here and it's Friday, we play Traveller. We get our big science fiction hit, our ongoing adventure that I think we made another decision last night that it's the game we're going to play till one of us drops dead, whether we're streaming it or not. And it's very exciting. And that's what we're going to do. And you guys get to enjoy that for as long as we're streaming it. And thank you so much for coming, whether it's your first time or your 50th time, or you're being forced to watch it by some horrible captor or something like that. We appreciate you. We're going to run a couple of hours tonight. I've got to get up in the morning. Sorry, it's always my fault in a minute. Life is busy. So feel free to stay for the full couple of hours or drop in, drop out, 5 minutes, whatever. We're just happy to have you here for as long as you want to be. We're also really happy to have you. Someone's on the line already. Also happy to have you lurking or chatting. We love our lurkers. We never shout you out or show you off, but we love the fact that you're here and listening to us while you're doing other things. We love the chatters. So if you want to chat, feel free to chat. We try and keep chat friendly and welcoming. Anything that's said there, you can ignore us altogether and just talk amongst yourselves, or you can talk about things that we will include in the adventure. We're interactive in that way. So a good idea might suddenly ping up in the game. We'll say hi to people and so on and so forth. We're very unprofessional. Anyone that knows us knows that already. We just want to be friendly and welcoming and, chill space. So we've all got a big table, we're sat around together. Isn't that lovely? You can click on the red sun. We've got a bewildering, I'm going with the word bewildering, a bewildering array of rewards, which I've had to turn my mouse off to plug something in, so I can't scroll down it. But there's lots of exciting things there. Feel free to look into it. The more expensive ones normally affect the game. Anything a dark pink will play a nice little tune. So have a click around, see what you like the look of, and get involved. Clonk will make one of us have to hit something or someone straight away. Stefan's sneaky masterclass means that Stefan has to steal something. So yeah, you can interact with the game and get things going in an entertaining manner. As Ben has just shown, I'll drink to that is something we keep as 1 credit and 1 credit only. That's something that if you agree, you're happy with the situation, you're like, yeah, definitely, I'll drink to that. You can put that in for 1 single credit, and we get to drink and raise a glass. We've kept it cheap so that we can drink. So, and it's not water, like a lot of these channels that are trying to hydrate. We're dehydrating ourselves tonight. So thank you very much for the credits that help us do that. I'll introduce us and then hand over to our referee, because that is what they're called in Traveller. My name is Luke. Hello, I'm in the bottom right-hand corner. I've got a different background because I have moved. There's a window behind here, so and I didn't like the idea of seeing behind me in a video out of a window. That felt like bad karma and bad juju. So I've covered it for now. I'm trying out different spots. I play 2 characters in this game. I play Kara and Soraya. There's Soraya, she's just popped up. She's a jack of all trades. She's sort of, she's been a scout for many years, lost a bit of people skills, but has all the other skills you could need. Give her some WD-40, I'll give her some gaffer tape, and she's right at home. Kara Alaska, on the other hand, loves people. She's a talker, she's an artist, she's a hacker, carouser, a person of the people, and she'd love to say hello to you this evening. But first, we need to say hello to the man above me. There he is. Look, not that one. That's Greyhill Bass. That one there. He is my brother from another mother. He is the Floofmeister General. He is the housewife's favourite. He is the magnificent Ewan. Good evening, Ewan. How are you?
Hey, Luke. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm good, thanks. I'm good. I was a little bit perturbed at one point at the thought of hundreds of people being held captive across the world, being forced to watch us, because you put it in my head. But
I'll take it. It's good for the numbers.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true, I suppose. That's true.
Yeah.
Not good for them.
Boys in the Baltic Star does not endorse the kidnapping of people and forcing them to watch our stream.
And that's official.
We can all agree with that one.
I'm also intrigued. Are you on the ground floor or the second floor?
I'm on the ground. This is very
Sorry, the
confusing.
first floor, the ground floor.
The ground floor.
I
Well,
don't know
what
why I
country are
went
we
part
in?
English and part
I
American
don't
there.
know. I'm on the ground
Bit
floor,
of
which
both.
means this is the first time I've ever streamed on the ground floor.
I was also if you didn't have the bass thing there, I could have popped round at half like
And
during the
waved
break and
once.
waved through the window.
A terrifying thought. Oh, goodness. We don't have it, and we don't
You
have
could
any
come up
curtains
with
at the minute,
different
so I've got all
different
that big.
effigies each week to
Oh no!
wave in front of your.
Oh, right. I need to get curtains in quickly. This is not a good state of play.
Let's just move to number 1 on the to-do list.
Yeah,
See, it's good encouragement. That's what I like to
exactly.
do.
Get my jobs done. Get my DIY happening. Who do you play as in our wonderful tale, Ewan?
I play two characters as well. I play Agnar Arnson. Speaking of encouragement, I like to think he tries to encourage people. Although Soraya has recently been very encouraging towards him and his new love of scouting, because he's not a scout. He was in fact in the army for a long period of time. He's the daddy of the group and quite keen on his military tactics and his medic. I also play Stefan Miller, who is sneaky, somewhat paranoid. I'm struggling to think of another way to describe him, but that's pretty much him. It's Soraya's best friend.
Oh,
Always on the lookout for something to Stefan's sneaky masterclass, or perhaps an evil doer to potentially, maybe, allegedly stab in the neck. Maybe not.
it's been a while since you've had a good neck stabbing. You know.
Mm.
You must be
It happened once.
You must be getting twitchy stabbing fingers. It is his way after all.
For anyone new here, we were probably, maybe, the least murder hobo-y role-playing group out there.
Which makes it all the
Top
more
10.
delightful. It makes it all the more delightful that before we started streaming and we had another player who was slightly more murder hobo-y, Stefan actually killed a gardener back in his dark and dismal days. So we try and forget
an
about
unarmed, helpless gardener.
Oh, he had arms.
Not when you finish with him.
From what I remember. Yeah.
Oh, what a treat! What a delight! It's lovely to have.
Maybe that's the way to describe Stefan. He just goes along with whatever anyone else is doing.
Yeah, I think that's very reasonable.
Easily led.
What a guy! Speaking of what a guy is, let's jump right to the top. Ewan, could you? I can't. My arm won't go far enough. Could you complete that thing? That one right at the top there is. There he's. Look at him. He's the smartest man in any room. That's why you put him on the top, because he belongs on the top. He lives his life in the Twin Peaks dream sequence, and he's carried around everywhere on the shoulders of half a dozen topless, heavily oiled Eastern European gentlemen, all with the same name. Interestingly, he only hires them if they've got the same name, and he's very strict on that because he's a very strict man. He is Ben. Good evening, Ben. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And those oiled individuals were a bit awkward when we met for a pub trip last night, wasn't it? I mean that certainly made it harder to find a table that would take us all.
It was hard because I didn't know on my round whether I had to buy for them or not. But then when you said you just sort of got my bowl with water, I felt a bit better.
Yeah, I mean, technically it's not water as much as little water in their language. It's fine.
How you been anyway, Ben? You good?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Yeah, very well indeed. Busy as always, but pressing on forward.
Yeah, of course.
Very excited for some traveller tonight. I think this is this is a new sort of place for you to explore, so it should be fun.
It is. We love new places to explore, especially dangerous sounding ones, which this one does.
There are no possible dangers on a long abandoned century-old starship.
Stefan's on it, and he's been known to stab people.
Only gardeners.
No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Though he did also blow someone's head off at one point, didn't he?
Yeah, that guy deserved it, though. I'm not going to hold that against
Oh,
him.
he definitely had it coming.
Yeah, he didn't see it coming.
No, he didn't. No, it came as a definite shock to him, albeit a very brief one.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. Lead us on. Lead us on, Ben. Take us into your mind's eye.
All right. Our heroes are exploring the Kelleren, a huge battle cruiser that disappeared on her maiden cruise nearly a century earlier. Our party includes the usual suspects, along with Zoe and Rachel. All of that pales into insignificance, however, when compared to the fact that their mission is led by famed adventurer Otto Nieder, the renowned discoverer of the wreck of the Claymore, toast of the Spinwood Marches, and legendary hero of 1,000 stories. There is something a bit unusual about the ship. Only a tiny part of it is visible from outside, but much more of it appears to exist, but isn't all there, so to speak. Still, exploration begins. In a cabin, there was a dead body, old and dried, a man who died of poisoning, an overdose of painkillers. Possibly that's important, but it's certainly creepy. So, finding themselves in this strange, unfamiliar, surreal environment, our heroes immediately decided to split up into two groups, presumably for safety. One group headed down a deck to explore the wiring and piping of the ship's engineering spaces. Seemingly, the power is essentially off throughout the area they're exploring. The other group went up to the avionics deck, where large pieces of equipment are mounted against the hull of the ship. There they found their first action, a robot that still had power. It seemed to wake up as they entered the avionics bay and immediately, but calmly, began announcing, "Emergency, boarders. Emergency, boarders." And that is where we resume the story.
Kara will half panic at the sound and she's like, "What? No, 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 no. Look, I look cool. I look like I surf, but I'm not a boarder."
No. I think it's saying that something is about to crash into the ship, and that there's a problem. There's an emergency at the borders of the ship.
Ah, that makes more sense actually. Excuse me, Mr. Robot. Is the outside of the ship okay? Are your borders okay?
You know what? I wish I could make you check corrals for this.
Oh, if only.
But I think this is going to have to be a communications one. So electronics comms, please.
Oh, that's all right. I'm guessing I can't use my. This is not my laptop thing, though, is it? This is just.
No, you'd have to like hack into it for that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, this is not a bad one to start with. Let's see how it works.
So this will be presumably with intellect. This is slightly unfamiliar territory.
Yeah, we're all right there. That's 13 in total.
Okay, fair enough. The robot stops repeating emergency boarders, and there's a brief pause, and then it says, "You have not been authorized aboard this ship. Please leave."
Oh, I see. Kara, I thought my other option was that perhaps there was an emergency and they were calling for officer boarders. Maybe that was the name of the engineer or something. But now I think maybe it thinks that we have boarded the ship that we're not supposed to.
Oh. No, Mr. Robot. We're here to help you. Is there anything we can help you with? Are you lonely? Do you need some oil? Do you?
You are not authorized aboard this ship. Please leave.
Ben, what was the history of this vessel that we knew? It was a naval.
It was a military vessel.
Yeah.
The only details, because parts of it were shrouded in secrecy, was that almost a century earlier, it took a maiden flight as its sort of shakedown cruise and disappeared, never arriving at its planned destination. It was, at least at the time, described as having an extremely advanced drive, something that was cutting edge and was experimentally being deployed to this ship before being added to any other vessels. It is not a vessel that you know a great deal about because its design was secret and largely remains so.
Oh,
Okay.
what happens if we don't leave straight away? Can you use force, Mr. Robot?
Unauthorized boarders will be repelled by force.
Bear with me a second. My daughter's just come down. Stefan, take lead.
Wait, hold on.
Think fast.
It's Kara. It's Kara and is it Stefan?
Yeah,
Yes.
Carver and Stefan. Yeah.
Stefan, I say we surrender. Please take us to your commanding officer so that we can discuss terms.
Okay. Immediately, the robot reacts with, "I'm not authorized to take surrender."
Take us to someone who is. Well done, you've captured some prisoners. And he'll pat it on the shoulder.
What do you think the shoulder
A fine victory.
There's a pause while the robot tries to sort of work out what to do, and then it says, "Accompany me," and it begins to move towards the hatchway that you came in through.
Stefan looks over to Kara and sort of shrugs.
Go on, you two. Go with the man. I'll be right behind. She whispers, "I'll be right behind you."
There's a definite look of terror in Stefan's eyes as we're splitting the party even further. But he follows. It's too late now.
Okay. All right. The robot starts to make its way through to the hatch, and at a certain point, Otto yells out, "We're doing this? We're meekly going to surrender?"
Presumably over comms, Stefan will say, I'm not sure there is anyone to surrender to. I'm just trying to buy some time and not incur the repulsion by force that was mentioned.
Okay.
You guys can do what you want. If you want to stay with Kara, I think, is that the plan? He looks over his shoulder.
Kara's already turned to the banks of whatever it is, telemetry, computer, but she sort of does
the avionics systems.
She goes, "Shh."
The robot rolls. It's an unusual design. Essentially, the main body of the robot hangs in the middle of the space, and it has extensible limbs that end in wheels, broadly. One set pressed against the floor and one against the ceiling. And as it reaches the point where the hatch is, the leading bogies of each of those wheels sort of fold in and allow it to roll over the hatch and resume, maintain continual contact throughout. It is capable of operating in 0G without any difficulty, seemingly, by doing this. And it rolls its way along to the hatch that you came up through, that you sort of floated up through, and then stops next to that and turns to make sure everyone's following it, which, as it turns out, they're not. So, Kara, what are you doing?
Like the second that they go, Kara's going to turn to try and get. She doesn't know how much time she's got, so she's going to look to see what she can see. I guess once the robot's gone, what's she looking at?
Okay. Can you roll for me an investigation check? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. An investigation check with intellect, please.
Oh, that's going to be a -1. She's not very investigative. That's actually a really good roll. How embarrassing. It's an 11. -1 is 10.
Okay. There are a series of large sealed units in a row, basically, along what is quite a long or wide gallery. At the far side from where you came in, there's an enormous, fairly sturdy-looking bulkhead that forms part of the solid hull of the ship, and mounted against it, or potentially even poking through it, are these big instruments. Now, the instruments are for different functions. Some for communications, some for scanning and navigation, and each of them has a little sort of control panel on them. The vast majority of those control panels are dead. There's no sign of any life on them. But there is one that the robot was near, which is lit up. And that, with that roll, looks like it's a communication system.
Is this how long was it before the robot decided someone was missing? Is this basically all I'm going to be able to?
That's all you're going to be able to do before it turns around. Yeah.
What Kara will quickly do on comms, will just say, downstairs. If you come upstairs, there's some comms. Can't say more now, but we won't be there. Don't worry. And but check it out. And then she sort of hears, I guess, the robot calling from the corridor. Sorry, I'm here, sir, I'm here. I just dropped my handbag. You know what it's like being, well, you wouldn't know what it's like to be a woman, I suppose, but, there's lipsticks everywhere. Sorry, so many lipsticks, I'm sorry. Have you ever tried lipsticks, Mr. Robot? Sorry, I'm here. Maybe you should.
Okay. The robot seems to wait patiently. Robots are good at patience, actually, until everyone is assembled, and then it moves over the hatch. And as it does, the top part of its gantry system seems to change configuration slightly, like it's gripping the surface now. And then it extends and starts pushing the entire robot down through the hatch. And the lower one extends at the same time until it reaches the deck below. And then the top one retracts and the robot moves off very slowly and then extends back up underneath. And from below, you can hear the robot saying, "Accompany me."
What do you think?
Does the weapon appear? Does the robot appear to have weapons from what we can see, Ben?
That's a fair call. You haven't got any robotic skills in the unit, have you?
I've got philosophy. I think that often helps with robots.
Often.
I think
Probably
therefore
not with identifying whether they're armed.
No. Stefan got anything?
No, I mean Stefan does have a plethora of weapon skills, but not not robotics.
I think your best bet would be either an investigation check, or if you have a skill in the like vehicle weapons category, heavy weapons, something like that.
Yeah, man portable or artillery, Stefan has.
Yeah, something like man portable heavy weapons. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you've got those, haven't you?
He does, yeah. With a
Oh, I've got
Well,
haven't I? That's someone else's skill.
both of them will be with intellect, please. But you can use investigation if you prefer.
I do not prefer. Mine is an 8 + 1 for a 9.
Oh, very good.
Okay. As far as you can tell, based on that, the robot, if it is armed, it is discreetly and with a small weapon. There aren't any obvious weapons visible, but also, though there are sort of hatches and ports and panels on the robot, none of them look big enough to hold anything really terrifying.
I mean, it might be armed.
It could be.
Certainly nothing I'd worry about, Cara. Especially seeing as it's 100 years old. I always assumed that 100 years ago things were massive and they got smaller and smaller. I don't know whether that's true. They might have got small to a point and then got bigger again. Like it might have got trendy to have larger things again and then shrunk down to what we have today. I'm no historian, as you know.
No. But you're a very smart man. What do you think? Are we? I guess we keep following it. It might take us to something of use. You know?
I mean, I was kind of hoping that at some point it would realise that everyone else will either come across someone who is alive, in which case great, or it will realise that everyone else is dead and will claim salvage on the ship legally. Is that a thing?
No,
I'm not very good with law either, as it turns out.
No.
But we could just seal up the thing now it's down there, or we could, as you suggest. Is that the right thing for a robot? I'm not sure.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I've not killed many robots in my time. Let's just keep following it. It might take us somewhere interesting. If it takes us somewhere dangerous to our health, then we're both armed. We're all armed. We've got Zoe. She could probably rip it apart with her bare hands if we need to.
That's true.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're heading down to join it?
Yeah.
And studiously ignoring any sort of looking down to see if there's anyone below you at this point, just in case that you give something away.
Not giving anything away at all. Like, oh, you've got all of us. Fair enough.
Well done, you got the whole thing.
You got the whole thing. Yep, crew of 3. That's how it always is.
You're like a tactical genius, Mr. Robot.
Exactly. All in one fell swoop.
Okay. At the hatch room level, the deck area, there was a hatch heading out in the opposite direction to the one you came in through from the main corridor. And the robot heads in that direction and opens the hatch and goes through it, but waits for you to follow.
Tell me, Mr. Robot, what's your job on the ship? What do you do?
I am responsible for the ship.
Everything, the whole ship.
The ship.
That's a lot of work.
I'm a lot of robot.
I think he's coming on to me.
Quick, give him the old eye from behind your visor.
That you are. That you are. I'll slowly nod and walk in the direction.
Okay. If you are following in that direction, what is in front of you is an enormously long corridor. Every 25 meters or so, there is another hatch that can seal it off into sections, but they are all open as far as you can see, though they do end some long distance away with what looks like a closed hatch. And the corridor is quite broad. It's clearly intended for large amounts of foot traffic, and all the way down it there are doors on both sides, and every now and then there's a hatch in either the floor or the ceiling as well, but it's littered with doors on both sides. And you can actually see that about 100 meters down there's an area where there are two hatches on the sides, and those both appear to be open opposite each other. And the robot begins slowly, waiting for you to keep up, moving its way down this corridor.
Ben, if Stefan were to guess using his best sense of direction, where in relation are we to the line in the ship?
The line in the ship
you
would
will.
probably have fallen between the hatch room you were just in and the avionics bay you stepped into by going forward.
So we're well into the belly of the ship.
So you're
Okay.
into the completely invisible part of the ship, basically.
Well, that's good news that nothing bad has happened yet. Stefan
Yeah.
will say out loud for no reason.
Okay.
Yeah, follow.
Okay. It continues to move its way down the corridor. It's not in any particular hurry. You easily keep up. There's no gravity here, of course, so you're keeping going in like little stops and starts and bumps. It's like herding cats down this corridor. But you're all reasonably experienced at moving through zero-G environments, and you move quite smoothly along behind the robot, certainly enough that it doesn't seem to be alarmed at your lack of progress. And it makes its way about 100 meters down to that place where the two hatches are open on each side, and it turns left. Essentially, based on your orientation, this long corridor runs down the spine of the ship from front to back.
Yeah.
So by turning left, you're entering the sort of starboard part of the vessel.
Stefan will look right. Just to have a nosy.
It looks like a corridor, similar to this one. Not as long, perhaps 50 meters long. It also has doors on each side, but they all appear at first glance to be closed.
Oh, you're so nosy, Stefan. You're so nosy.
It's a big ship.
Yeah.
Where do you think it's taking us?
To its leader. If it takes us to a room where there's where the walls start closing in and spikes come down from the ceiling, then I'm not going in there. But until then, I'm interested.
No, we'll leave that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think we should ask?
Oh, good idea. Go on. You've built a rapport. He seems to like you.
Me?
Yeah, you did a bit of flirting earlier. Oh, no.
Okay. And slowly following after the robot, Stefan will. Where did you say you were taking us again, Mister? Who's able to accept our surrender? What's the name of the person so that we might greet them accordingly?
The officer of the deck will accept your surrender.
Officer of the deck. Wonderful. Is there anything we should know about them? Hobbies, pet peeves, something something that we can relate, allow us to relate to them a little bit on a personal level.
The officer of the deck is a position taken by an officer on a schedule. It is not a single individual.
I see. Can you tell we're new at this? But you're being very reassuring. Thank you. Thank you for all your help.
You're welcome. And the robot makes a journey down about halfway down this corridor, round about 25 meters or so. And on the right, there is a hatch. Can you both roll a streetwise check for me, please, for your characters with intellect?
Streetwise intellect.
Mine is a 6 plus 2.
Okay.
An 8.
Mine is a 7 plus 2. Hang on, I think my intellect is 2. Hang on. Yeah, it is. It's a 9.
Right. Amazingly, Otto rolled quite well, and so did Zoe. So 4 of you recognize that the door that is now being opened, even before you see what's inside it, and I will describe that actually now, it leads to a much narrower, more basic and functional corridor, obviously designed for fewer people to be coming and going on a regular basis, which has a fairly substantial number of doors on each side, and they're not spaced out the way the previous ones were. They're all very, very close to next door to each other. And but as the door opens, you can actually see that on the bulkhead outside, it has a serial number, like an area number, and then it says Brig.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it does. Stefan will go quietly over the comms to Kara. We can either call it now and fight our way out, or we can try and escape. A daring plan of escape from the brig once the robots thinks it's done its job.
How many times have you escaped from a high-tech brig, Stefan?
Never.
I thought as much.
There was one time that I came really close. And a couple of other times I've escaped from other things, but never a high-tech brig. Certainly not a 100-year-old high-tech brig. But what a story it would make, eh?
What a story it would make indeed. I don't want to go in the brig.
Hi, I'm Carl Alaska, and this is day 365 of our attempted escape from the brig. Yesterday was unsuccessful, but today we've got high hopes. No? It's good content.
She sort of pats one of her pockets and she's like, I really, really want to throw this EMP, but I think that'd be terrible. I don't want
for the robot.
But I don't know. Oh, we're in our suits anyway, aren't we? We're a long way away from anything interesting.
Will it work on the breathing apparatus of my suit? Because I'm quite attached to that functioning.
How long can you hold your breath? It'll only last a few minutes.
I don't know. I've never really tried, I'm thinking now's not the time to test out the limits, but if it only lasts a few minutes, what do we just run?
Should we do it? It's been ages since I've used an EMP. It feels like a long time. It probably hasn't been. It just feels like far too long. I don't think I did one on Geeker. Shall we toss one to see what happens? This can't be worse than ending up in the brig. Even if we end up in space somehow, we can get picked up.
That's what?
Oh,
How are we going to end up in space?
We might just open
There's
every
walls
single.
all
Just
around
open
us.
every single door.
I mean, oh yeah, that's true. Although in that case, that'd be a really easy escape from the brig, and probably not a very good story to tell. So yeah, maybe do it now.
Just as Stefan's halfway through his sentence, Kara's already. In my mind, we've not gone down that. We've not gone into that corridor yet, right? As the robot's gone in.
That's right. Yes, you're looking into the corridor entrance.
We've clocked brig. The robot's gone in, and this is where the conversation is. And as Stefan's still talking, Kara's reached into her pocket, and she's pulled out an EMP and pulled the pin or whatever, and rolled it down the corridor after the robot.
Wait, what if there's loads of monsters and murderers in the cells, and you're just about to let them out?
Too late. It's already gone. I was like, oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Uh,
As it's bouncing down.
Okay. So you're throwing the EMP where exactly?
Down the corridor of the brig after the robot.
Okay. So as the robot makes its way into the corridor, you throw the EMP. All right. Now, you have
EMPs.
Some stats for this EMP, don't you? About its ability to hit different tech level things, as I recall.
Oh yeah. Oh, hang on. If this tech level's too low, it just destroys it, doesn't it? Oh, hang on. Oh no, it's okay. Tech level 9. No, hang on. Oh, do I throw the tech level 11? I should have asked the robot what tech level it was.
Excuse me, Mr.
Excuse
Robot.
me, Mr. Robot. Earth is tech level 7, isn't it?
About getting on for 8 now.
This is quite high tech. Let's do. It might just destroy it anyway. Let's do the 11.
Okay. All right. Now.
Times. Oh, that's my last one though. It was very precious to me. It was very precious to me.
All right. Okay. Can you roll an attack, please, to start with?
Okay.
For the grenade throw.
Yes.
That'll be an attack with your dex, please.
Okay. Flat 8 with nothing though. My dex is 0 and yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So with that done, it is 1 second. Your basic EMP. Right. So this is a tech level 11.
Yeah.
Okay. The grenade rolls close enough to be, well within the blast radius and what have you. And immediately it pops. And you can actually feel the sensation of the little burst of energy, because there's a bright glow as the pinch takes effect, and though
Take a deep breath.
Though your own electronics are mostly going to be immune to such things,
Go floating up.
The detonation appears to have no impact whatsoever on the robot.
Oh no! I've wasted it.
And it stops as if it's detected the sudden light, and turns around and says, "Please accompany me," and opens up a cell door.
Uh, run or shoot, Stefan. Run or shoot.
How long's the corridor in either direction, Ben?
The corridor you're in is about 10 meters long with the doors down each side. The robot is just a little way inside, about halfway down. You're still in the main cross corridor. That corridor's about 50 meters, and you're in the middle of it. So there's 25 meters worth before you get to the end, and 25 meters back to that junction.
Oh, well, shall we?
Shall we? He says, shall we? Is he looking down the
Hmm.
corridor? Or is he tapping the butt of his rifle?
Oh, yeah, sorry. You can't see below the table. He's definitely tapping his hip. Not his legs. The gun on his hip.
What's
Ah, I
that?
see.
Shall we have hip replacements? How old is Agnar again?
Kara nods and takes hold of her laser carbine.
Okay. If you're going to attack the robot, we need to roll for initiative, please.
Oh, combat. We've been forced into combat. Very upsetting.
What is the world coming to?
For initiative, you have two different stats you can choose from. Remember, you can either use your dex or your int.
Wonderful. And it's 2d6. Ew.
Yes, 2d6 plus either of those stats.
Just the 6, but plus 2, so 8 for Kara.
Okay.
5 plus 2 for Stefan.
Okay. So Zoe gets to go first.
Oh, good. We won't need to do anything. This is going to be sorted. It's going to be all right.
All right. Zoe is going to make an attack with her dex.
I like that Zoe's been primed for this all the way through. So much so that she gets the jump on both of us who called for the attack.
She's not as big on the philosophy of robot negotiations.
She's just been waiting for the signal to overfire.
Right. So with her that's 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 5, that's a total of 11 for her. So it's a clean hit, and the weapon, which is a slightly customized one, if you remember, which I now need to actually find, of course, because it is in my notes. Hang on a second. On earth is it? There we go. Okay, so 6 and 7, 13. Excellent. So it has AP4. All right. So it lands a fairly solid hit, but she isn't just firing a single shot. She's at close range, and she has the desire to cause damage.
She's been so desperate, hasn't she? So desperate, that poor woman.
Yeah. And
it's been a while.
It effectively loses the benefit of scope actions, and it's going to be a burst with +4 to damage, 17, and it takes the armor almost entirely out of the equation. So it's a very solid hit. You see the little needle-like Gauss projectiles tear into the robot's body,
Nice.
and as she's firing, she sort of pushes herself down into one corner of the hatchway to take a little bit of cover in case the robot fires back. Okay,
Nice.
and that's her. So next up is, I think it's Kara who rolled high, didn't she?
8 she hit in total. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Kara will crouch down behind the doorway, looking down the corridor, so taking her cover from the corridor, looking into the other corridor, and will take an aim and unload the laser carbine, please.
Okay. So take a shot with your relevant weapon skill and your dex, please.
Oh, I do have relevant weapon skill. That's the best thing. Oh, but I started rolling really well now. And the last couple have been failures that have only got me there through skill. So let's see. Hey!
Oh, what a time.
What a time to be alive. 13.
What a time to roll a 12.
Time to
A
roll a
total
12.
of 13. Okay, you can have
12
+5 to your damage roll for that, please.
Rolled a 12. A very long time, actually. That is a 4D plus 3. So it's going to be 4D plus 8.
Okay.
Not so good. That's only 10 on the dice. A 4, 4, 1, and a 1. But plus
Okay.
8. But plus 8 is 18.
Okay. Plus 18. The weapon seems to land a pretty decent hit. Doesn't look quite as damaging as the one Zoe landed, but certainly you get the feeling that it impacted with some potency. Now you do have the opportunity to sort of seek some cover as well in case it returns fire.
Yeah, my idea is that if it's down the corridor anyway, to be the other side of the hatch. So hide behind the hatchway wall, I guess.
Yep.
So yeah. So sort of
Okay.
peek round, take the shot, peek back again. Sort of thing. So
Yep. Yeah. Fair enough. So next up, I'm almost apologetic to say, is going to be Stefan.
Stefan.
Is that what Zoe's doing as well? Is she taking cover behind the?
Yes, she's taking
hatch.
cover around the corner of the hatch. Yeah.
In that case, Stefan too will make his way over to the doorway and remove his laser pistol from the holster on his hip, and he'll look at Kara and Zoe and just say, "Why do you two always try and kill anyone that takes the slightest interest in me?" And then he'll take a shot with the laser pistol. I'm assuming he can't minor action aim after the movement.
No, if he's moving into cover, I'm afraid he's going to be doing that.
Yeah, that is fair.
Okay.
So energy and dex.
Yes, please.
Yeah, that is a 5 on the dice. Plus 4 is a 9.
Nice.
Okay, that's 3D plus 1, please, for your damage.
That is a 5, a 6, and a 3 is
man.
14 plus 1.
15. Okay. It's again a reasonable hit. It seems to land an impact. There's damage clearly from it. Again, not quite as big as the last two hits, but definitely solid. A good hit. Which leaves Otto, who is also using a laser pistol.
He gets his chance to be a hero. Come on, Otto.
Okay, that's a 9 to hit. So he gets +1 on 3d6. That's a 6, a 5, and a 4.
Oh.
So 15 plus 1 is 16. That's fairly comparable to the laser hits that we've seen before. He lands it on target, and the robot gets a chance to react. Okay. What you see is the robot has sort of been wrecked a little bit by these impacts. It's clearly taken quite a lot of damage from the hit, and it sort of rolls backwards a little way under the barrage as if it's trying to avoid incoming fire before reacting by charging forwards towards you. And as it gets closer, a small hatch in front of it pops open, and from inside it, you see there's a sort of brief like glowing light, which then suddenly blasts out a sort of very hot beam of energy.
Oh, sounds horrible.
The energy beam essentially fills the entire corridor's width as it goes forward and splashes past you where you're all taking cover in the corridor. So it's going to make an attack on each of you, with you being in cover at +2. I'm going to call it for the purposes of this. So its attacks are an 8 against Zoe, so that's a hit against Zoe. A 4 against Kara.
Oh,
So
phew.
a miss there.
She's little. She's good at hiding.
A 12 against Agnar, +1, sorry, it's 13 against Agnar.
Stefan?
I do apologise, against Stefan. My head's in the wrong place.
That's all right.
And an 8 against Otto. So a straight hit against Otto, a straight hit against Zoe, and a +5 hit against Stefan.
Oh man.
Quick point of order, Ben. We've all got vac suits on.
That's right.
Stefan's ceramic carapace, does that fit with the vac suit or not?
That's an excellent question. Let's
Sorry, it might be the one time, maybe, possibly, that I get the bonus for being hit versus heat. Maybe.
Right. Let's check this.
If not, I'm definitely getting hit.
Okay, on your stat. Yes, it works with a vac suit.
Cool.
So, as a consequence, you can subtract from the damage roll you're about to get the necessary damage. Against Zoe, that's a total of 2 damage. Against Stefan, this is with a +5. That's a total of 6 minus the armor.
Whew.
And against Otto, it actually records a 0. So he gets hit but takes no damage at all. Yeah, so what's the carapace worth in terms of armor?
I've got +10, but I've got +16 versus heat. Not that it makes a difference, but just
Then in this one,
in
you
the
can
know.
definitely take a +16. So yes, and I think I'm right in saying that though Zoe isn't as well armored as some of you guys.
Uh-oh, not Zoe.
No, Oh, could you imagine? That'd be bursting.
Um,
I'd probably set Stefan in front of her, to be honest, just to save her. With that moment's thought.
I would too, but it's not up to me, Luke.
That's true.
yeah, as it turns out, her vac suit easily absorbs the damage without requiring anything. And as it has finished unleashing this burst of heat, the robot seems to almost deflate slightly. Its limbs above and below, the things gripping the corridor, go slack and just start to slowly contract because they were under a bit of pressure, and it seems to be drifting lifeless in the corridor.
A last hurrah, maybe, Stefan. Why don't you go and prod it?
Before Stefan does, any blinking red lights or beeping noises suddenly getting faster and faster and faster, or
As far as you can tell,
countdown timers flashing across where the eyes would be?
as far as you can tell, it is no longer responsive, no longer capable of sustaining power.
Perhaps that was all the juice it had left. It's been floating around here for a while. I don't know what the power reserves are like on the ship, but I'm no scientist. Presumably, it takes some kind of energy to keep half a ship somewhere else, and well, not half, but you know what I mean. Part of the ship somewhere else, and part of it here, maybe.
Maybe it's just built for that. That last puts all its power into one massive attack, and then, in the hope to repel boarders or whatever. That's what it's built to do. Oh man.
Anyway, I hope you're happy now.
I'm always happy. That's the best thing about me. It's also the most annoying thing about me.
The only robot I ever loved, dead because of you two. 3 turns to Otto.
Do you need a moment with it?
Yes, I do. And he'll wander down the corridor to have a look at the robot. Prod it slightly.
Okay.
Hello.
Can you make an investigation check, please, with intellect?
This is something that Stefan is not very good at. Good times. Ooh, that's an 11. -3.
Oh, good man.
Okay.
Well done, you.
Yeah. A cursory examination reveals that it appears to basically be some slightly scarred and perforated scrap metal now. It is unlikely to work unless significant additional power is put into it. It looks like it's just run out of juice.
And Stefan will bow his head and take a moment. Pretend to pull down the fake robotic eyelids on the robot's head.
Put the thumbs over.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Gently caress its head and walk away, back towards. No, it's gone.
Oh, it must have died of a broken heart. Anyway, come on. I want to look at the comms now that's gone.
Good. And Stefan takes out his little device and starts writing down in the memoirs of Stefan. I forget the title. It died of a broken heart. Right, come on then. Where are we off to next?
I want to go back and look at the comms now that I've got a chance. You don't need to come with me.
All right.
You can have a look around if you want, but I can shoot up there quick.
Do you remember the way?
Yeah.
We took quite a few turns. There were a lot of hatches up.
No, it's just down to the end and up, isn't it? Just stick to the road and you'll be all right. Yeah.
It's not too bad. Pretty straightforward.
Come on.
Okay. So as you set off back towards the front of the ship, we will take our break.
Sounds good to me.
Very good.
Right. Right, we shall be back in 5 minutes. Please don't go anywhere. Come back to find out what's going on in the ship and the magical excitement of that. We will see you shortly once I've set this up. Hang on. Let's put some music on. There's some music. Let's put that bit. There's that bit. And we're going to shut up now. Back in 5. See ya. Hi, we're back. Ben.
Aha. So, it is time to recount another of the stories I was once told by our former ship's steward. I can't verify the accuracy of these stories. After all, he once told me that he invented October. Once, he told me, he took a job exploring a series of ancient ruins in search of mystical artifacts. He went alone into caves, valleys, temples, palaces, and some really freaky places, battling animals, monsters, and the undead. Then there was a lot of climbing, he said. Lots and lots of climbing. Oh, yes. And seemingly he had to push a lot of giant blocks around for no sensible reason and avoid stepping on the broken hand of some giant statue because it could turn people into solid metal. And then there was, anyway, sorry, we're here to celebrate, not criticize. So whether the drink in your hand was wrestled from the tomb of an ancient ruler or purchased at the corner shop, please raise it now and drink a toast to the late, great Greyhill Bast.
To the late great Bast.
The late great Greyhill Bast. Oh, good timing, Stormbender, just for the toast. The most important part of the stream. And how are you
Cheers
doing?
indeed.
I hope you're doing okay. Pleasure to see you as always.
Okay, so it is time to turn our attention to the other part of the group.
Oh yeah, I forgot they
What we've
existed.
essentially ignored so far this evening. Agnar and Soraya are with Rachel Axis.
Of course. We were down with the conduits, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
What did it say? And there wasn't much excitement down there, if I remember. All the wires are dead.
Not a lot.
Everything's
The
dead.
power was essentially dead, and other than that, it was just access ports to cables, conduits, and things of that nature.
I guess at some point they'll get that message about going up, I guess, and hearing
Yes.
bits and pieces about what's going on.
So at a certain point, which is relatively quickly, you only spent a couple of moments talking to the robot before heading off. Fairly quickly, your party down there, still pulling on the occasional cable, seeing if there's anything, will have exactly received that message to head up and examine avionics.
Agnar, how's your avionics? You strike me as a man who knows such things.
That would be entirely inaccurate. I have no idea what I'm doing. But I'm keen to give it a go. I think that was the first rule of scouting. So Savannah told me.
It is the first rule of scouting. Give it all a go. Give it all a go. Come on, I'll show you. I'll show you how to bodge something together. I'm the queen. I'm the queen of bodging. I know enough. I've done similar.
Come on then.
Have you got a bit of chewing gum and it's got to be chewed. A bit of chewing gum and half a biro.
No, I don't. I can't remember the last time I wrote with a pen. To be honest, I do have this stick of chewing gum, but it's a special type. If you chew it or smash the two ends together, it'll explode. So I'm keen not to chew this one. I'll just keep it in my just in case, in my pocket.
Okay, well let's go and have a look. Come on, it's a bit boring down here. Rachel, dead end, right? Nothing exciting.
Nothing I can see.
Let's go up to the top then. Let's get a change of scenery.
Okay, so you make your way up. As you do, I would like you to all roll a streetwise for me, please, with intellect. This is as you enter the hatch room.
Wonderful.
6 plus 2 is 8.
Okay.
Mine is a 4. Minus 3
Oh, no.
for a 1 on 2d6.
A 1. That's
Yes,
remarkable.
Yes. It's
There
about
are
time.
a few little miniature gaps, aren't there, in Agnar's skills?
Yes. And they tend to be low rolls whenever they come up.
Yeah. So, as you make your way up through the hatch room, Soraya glances to her sort of side and sees that the hatch leading down towards the aft of the ship is still open. It wasn't closed after the group went through it. And as you make your way up, you spot the party just turning, the rest of your party just turning into that corridor. You just catch a glimpse of the robot and the people following it down that corridor. So that's the timing, if you like, as you head up. You all have at least some degree of vac-suit skill and competence. So you all make it up both stories and across into the avionics bay. So you have a bit more time to examine it. The avionics bay there is not enormous front to back from the entrance you come in, but it's wide. It runs a considerable distance along the ship's hull, and it contains a number of these instruments and electronic devices, all of which appear to be off, except for one that has a glowing screen indicating what's that there are systems up and running there.
You see, Agno, it's exciting. Like, let's have a practice, okay? The first rule of scouting is even if you don't know what something is, you sound like you do. So quickly, what's this doohickey called? She points at some random device. Quick, what's this called?
That's the coefficient gimbal balancer.
It is actually, and the thing next to it.
That's the oh, you got me. I'm a fraud. What is it?
It's the reticulating spline.
I see. I knew that one. I knew that one. It's been a while.
It's true. Look, and this one's the most exciting. This one is on. Look at that. There's power to this one.
Wasn't it on already?
Yes, but it's the only thing that is. The gimbals and the splines are all off, but this is on. Can she go forward to have a look at it to get a closer look with the best of her ability, I guess?
Certainly. Based on the control panel, because the actual housing is pretty generic, just a sort of box designed to be sealed for shock resistance and protecting the components inside. It has access hatches, but they're all shut. But the screen shows a functioning communications array, which is allegedly available for sending messages and data.
Soraya, watch out! And he knocks her hand away. You almost touch the self-destruct sequencer, and he points at a random button.
Look, there's a difference. There's a difference between being a scout and playing make believe. Are you belittling my proud profession?
I'm not sure I see the difference. if I'm entirely honest at this point, but I still have a lot to learn, obviously.
You clearly do, more than I thought you did. I thought you were doing better than you actually are. This is working, and it will call out to somewhere, but I don't know. Is there a chance to flick through, like last calls kind of made, like a log? Is there a log on it that you can look into?
Yeah. Make an electronics communications check for me, please.
Which is not my strength. I need Kara to come back quickly. With intellect?
Yes, with intellect.
Can I use jack of all trades instead?
You can use jack of all trade for your electronics, not for your intellect.
Yeah. That's good. Okay. So it's a flat. Oh no, just a 5 then.
Oh.
-1 for jack of all trades, +1 for intellect.
All right. Rachel wanders around and looks at it and says, "This is not as old as I was expecting it to be, you know? Like, it must have been advanced in its day."
Do you know what the really cool thing is? We could send out coded naval messages in like 100-year-old code.
Oh, imagine someone getting
That'd
up.
be kind of eerie, right? If you're flying along in the ship and you get a coded message and you ask some questions and it turns out it's a really, really old code beyond living memory.
Well, it's interesting to me because
It'll give someone a really nice story.
I'm surprised no one has, because this bit of ship's the bit that's through the bubble that's in system.
That's right.
And the robot's there. Surely
The
there must the robot. Oh yeah, I don't know that, do I? Oh no, they do, because I heard that the robot.
Yeah,
No, you
you
do. I
you know
did.
the robot.
Agnar,
Yeah.
Agnar definitely didn't see anything, I think. But yes.
Yeah, there was a robot here. There's a robot. Did you not hear what Carl was saying? There's some creepy robot thing.
I was reciting the Scouts code. The
Good.
first rules.
Yeah, good. I'm
There's a
glad.
lot of them.
There's a lot. Oh, very well.
But yeah.
So if this has been here for that long and they've been out in the system and the robot's been there, I'm surprised that no one's come along sooner. Like,
Maybe they have and the robot killed them.
maybe killing the very saviours that were sent out. But I guess I don't know. We need Kara back. I could keep pressing these buttons randomly and nothing will happen. I'll just hit that the self. Yeah, I won't ignore. I'll be honest. I'll level with you. I know as little as you when it comes to communications. It's all just bravado.
Kara knows the actual names of the buttons and levers and things, though, doesn't she? She knows what she's doing.
Oh yeah, exactly. I guess I don't know. What do you want to do? I feel useless here. Did you see that the hatch was open though? Do you fancy it going exploring?
I did. Do you know what? Often my retired view on life, and actually I somewhat when I was enlisted, my view on life is if you feel useless in a place rather than just wandering around aimlessly trying to find something cool, where would you feel less useless? Let's try and find that place and be there.
I like your thinking. Let's do it. After you lead the way. I feel like you need to use your inner sense of self-worth. And I think that when we get to the place where you'll feel the self-worth, it will be the right place. So please.
We're looking for I thought we could look for your place, but if you
wherever I lay my hat, that's my home. That's one of the Scouts' mottos.
It's the first rules of Scouting.
The first rule of Scout, yeah. Wherever your hat is laid. Go on. Lead on.
Okay.
This is exciting.
Yeah,
this is exciting.
Sure.
Are you not excited? Exploration is at the very forefront of scouting.
Scouting, yeah, that's true. I am very excited. Right, where we got one way out other than the way we came in. Is that the way out?
Well, that hatch, that hatch from the middle section, looks like it heads down into the very belly of the beast, as it were. And find, are you okay going deep into the ship?
I am quite fond of bellies. That came out wrong. I'm quite fond of what goes into bellies. I quite like a good steak. So maybe that is where I feel the most worth.
I feel like
Let's
I'm
head that
learning
way.
lots about you, Agnar, and all your little fetishes.
Me too.
Lead on.
Okay.
I'm excited.
So you head back down through the hatch onto the main deck, and then you're heading out towards where the brig was, effectively.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
Okay. As you make your way down the corridor, your torches pick out the doors on each side with their various identification numbers. They just seem to have code numbers rather than much in the way of useful information for the most part. Though every now and then there's something that looks a little bit more enticing because it seems to have an abbreviated piece of terminology with it. By the time you've got to the sort of midpoint of the ship where that crossway was, just this side of it, on both sides, there are doors that indicate they have bridge access.
Well, I do have some semblance of self-importance. Perhaps the bridge is where we are destined to end up.
Is it where you feel you belong?
Would you care to do the honours?
I'll open the door for you. I don't feel worthy to go in first, but I'll prepare the way for you. As a scout would do, I'll go first and make it nice for the following heroes.
Now I feel kind of bad.
And Sarai reaches for the door to hoik it apart if that's needed.
Okay, there are two doors. You can choose the port or starboard one.
Oh, well, port's easier to write.
Okay.
No, port's left.
It's also nicer to drink than starboard.
I've never had a good glass of starboard.
No, exactly.
I don't know. It's the bitter aftertaste, I think. So you open the port door onto the bridge, and inside you can see, again, everything is very dark, of course, but your torches pick everything out quite well. You can see what is essentially a ramp which curves upwards and forwards in the ship. So because you're looking at the port side door, it sort of curves up and to the right the way you're looking at it, and disappears around a corner effectively.
This is very grandiose.
Before I go in, could you do me a favour? I didn't spend much time on naval vessels, obviously, and I've never been announced as being on the bridge. Could you, as I walk in, could you just in a really official manner state "General on the bridge," please, and I'll strike a heroic pose, and that I can tick that one off of the to-do list.
Of course. Yeah, that's true. I never thought about it. You're not a naval man.
No.
You're not at home. You don't feel at home, I guess, among seamen. I'll announce you.
Not really.
Ladies and gentlemen, General Agnar Arnson of the Rift Runners. And she swoops down and holds an arm out.
You're not announcing me at a social gathering.
And then she looks back.
That has been done before.
And
I've
Lady
heard that
Rachel
many a time.
Axis.
Rachel is looking back and forth between the two of you like you're quite unhinged, and pushes herself up towards
She's
the
not
ramp,
wrong.
and just disappears round the corner while you're having this discussion.
I apologise for that, Rachel. I didn't mean to drag you into this absurdity. And Agnar will step in onto the bridge.
Well, at the top of the ramp, there
Soraya
is
on
in
the
fact
bridge.
another hatch,
That's better.
and Rachel is waiting at the outside of it, with waiting for you to catch up, basically.
What do you think's in there? Do you know what's in there, Rachel?
Well, the bridge probably.
Ah,
She's smart. This is why I said we should
yes,
bring her on the
yeah,
team.
very. I'm glad you're here. Please, after you.
Okay. She grabs hold of the hatch and slides it open. The bridge on this ship is big. It's a bigger space than you are perhaps used to. It's not mounted to the exterior of the ship in any way. It doesn't have any sort of portholes or viewing panels out to the outside. It is in fact placed deep within the center of the vessel for protective reasons. All of its external views and sensors will pipe in information from outside, but in there you are in a very heavily armored box inside an armored ship, so as to make sure that it's not vulnerable to damage from incoming fire. It was, after all, a battle cruiser.
Yeah.
The space, however, is large, and it is filled with various benches and consoles and things like that, all of which appear to be off, basically. The place looks dead and quiet. There are a couple of other things you notice, however. The first is that here there are several dead bodies. They are drifting, just hanging in the vacuum, in the 0G, sorry. And you can see 3 from where you are in the doorway. You're on the sort of back port side, the back left of the bridge. And these bodies, though they aren't moving much, are moving just the very slightest bit. They're sort of very, very slightly turning in perhaps a bit of air current or something of that nature, but that's the only movement you can see. So that's one thing. The other thing you notice is on the sort of rear bulkhead along to your right as you come in, there are 2 robots. Both of them seem to be quiet, powered down, or just not active at this moment. And they are designed similarly to the one that Soraya saw a glimpse of, with these extending sort of grips, top and bottom, fixing them firmly to position in 0G. Soraya, can you roll a sort of suitable technical check? Obviously, robotics would do it, but so would something like an engineering skill or investigation would be fine if you've got that.
Let's see what I got.
Or a jack of all trades, to be honest.
I was going to say the best thing I've got otherwise would be mechanic, power engineer, but that doesn't really count. Sensors engineer, which probably doesn't count. So probably be mechanic or jack of all trades, I guess.
The mechanic is mechanic for what in particular?
Just says it's just mechanic.
Just standard mechanic. Yeah, mechanic's fine. Use that.
Well, thank you. With intellect?
With intellect, please. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, that's good again. We're back. 8 plus 2 is 10.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay. All right.
A little wobble.
Saraya's the only one who noticed the previous robot, so she's the only one who will recognize this. These two robots are not of the same design. They seem to be of the same design philosophy, the same sort of mobility system and basic construction, but these are larger, bulkier, and more angular around the center. They look more substantial, shall we say.
You know, I said about a robot earlier. These are beefier. I don't like the look of them. Don't go waking them up with grandiose movements or something. Don't go sweeping in, trying to become king of the way, Agnar.
Robots.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Buffbots. We've got to worry about the big beefy buffbots. The one with the buffbots. That's our
Noted.
title sorted.
The buffbots.
Nice.
Thanks, Tom Bennett. Got yourself on cannon now.
Okay, sure.
All right. Now, can all of you please also roll an investigation check? Both of you roll an investigation check. Rachel will do the same.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought you were saying that. Oh, roll for combat.
Agnar has this with
Intellect, please.
Investigate and intellect.
7 + 1 for an 8.
Okay.
What was it? Investigate plus what? Intellect.
Intellect, yeah.
4 + 1 is 5.
Okay. Agnar, you notice something else as well. The nature of the bridge is that all of the various positions for people to work, the various workstations and benches and consoles and things like that, are ordered in a very symmetrical way. They are in very strict rows, allowing, everything's in a grid, everything's laid out very, very straightforwardly, so that everything lines up perfectly with everything else. But while that's clearly how it's designed, from where you are, you can actually see that it's not as true as it was probably designed to be. You look forward down a sort of row of these benches, and after a moment of ignoring the floating body that's hovering in that space, you realize that the entire space, not like a single plate or a single piece or anything like that, but it's as if the entire area is just slightly twisted, but only very slightly. If you can imagine, the entire hull was just twisted a little bit, and everything inside is just slightly out of alignment because it all bent and flexed in the same way.
On one.
The more you
one
look
parallel.
around, the more you realize that it's fairly universal across this space.
Okay. Quick question, Ben. The floating bodies. Poses. Looks of terror, standing, seating, pushing buttons.
They are
Fingers pointed out.
They're all floating sort of randomly, and while they don't look cheerful, it has to be said, it's hard to tell what is a consequence of the moment of death, so to speak, and what is a consequence of their dehydration over time. The dry air in a ship the size of a battle cruiser has almost mummified them, so they aren't. You can't really read a facial expression or a pose or anything.
Sarai,
Hmm.
you're good with computers, aren't you? Do you think given the given the vector and the speed of these bodies, we could like reverse engineer to where they were when they died. Like we could work it back in time and find out a point where they all seem to be, at least on the ground, standing on their feet or sat down or something, and figure out where they were and then reconstruct what they were doing from there. Also, did you notice this whole place is really twisted? Like there's shifts on. That's probably the more important thing, to be honest. It feels a bit weird. The more you look around, the more you notice it.
When I came in, it did feel a bit uncanny, like something wasn't right. Now you mention it, yeah.
Like it's meant. I get the feeling it's meant to be symmetrical.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it's not.
Oh no. Oh no, I don't like this at all. No.
It's like some kind of non-Euclidean geometry or something.
It's like
not quite. It doesn't feel quite like that. But
now you've brought it up, I can't think of anything other than that. Oh,
it's bad for the OCD, right?
Oh, it's bad for the juju. Not this at all.
But I'm trying to think back. I don't know whether I've noticed it anywhere else.
I don't think I have. I don't know. Is this to do with being caught in the bubble, the jarring movement as they tried to come out, getting stuck in, a terrible situation that happened during jump because of the pace?
Well, is this the center? This is obviously the center of the ship, right? Is it the center of the jump activity? Is that a...
Well, first I'd like it noted that I don't like the bridge not being at the front of ship. But
duly noted in the general's log.
No, this is...
Why is that funny?
This is just not... I don't know. No, I can't put my finger on it, but we need to delve deeper, man. We need to delve deeper. There's something happened to the ship. Big happened to the ship, and I feel like we're just painting the first brushstrokes.
Do you know what though? In all seriousness, I do feel as though we need to get the whole ship together in one area of space, as it were, solve the problem, and potentially get these bodies back to some authority within the Navy. They deserve a hero's, at least an adventurer's send-off, recognition of their accomplishment, I suppose. Their first in a new technology, and what happened here needs to be recognised.
It's not a bad call. Let's put it on the to-do list. Drag some bodies over to the other end of the ship. Yeah, sure. I'm up for that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can contact the others. They are just about finished at this point, examining a destroyed robot.
Why don't you ask one of the others if the ship's twisted where they
are? Hey, Stefan. Why are you sobbing? Is the ship? Look down wherever you are. Is the ship twisted where you are in any way? Is there something weird about where you are at all? Do things seem odd? We've just seen something weird where we are.
The things seem odd where Stefan is.
Can you roll
oh no.
an investigation plus intellect, please?
Yep. That's a 4 minus 3. Stefan this time for a while. Yeah.
You're unable to identify anything, but obviously everyone's heard that on the call, so everyone can have a go if you like.
No, it looks perfectly fine here. Listen, I'm grieving, so just leave me alone.
If you'd like Cara to have a go, that's fine.
What was it? It's not her stats.
It'll be investigation plus intellect.
Oh no. Okay. Maybe that's a 9, but it's -1, 8.
Okay. Kara sort of presses her head against or very close to one of the bulkhead walls in that corridor, and looks both ways up and down the main corridor that you were heading to on your way, back towards avionics. And if you look forward, it's possible it might be a bit twisted. It may be harder to see because it would be twisted kind of around that axis, so not as obvious. But if you look the other way, it does seem that as you head further aft, definitely the ship is just a little bit warped. Yes, it looks like it.
I'll tell you what, Stefan, Agno, sorry. I think looking back, further back down the ship looks twisted, and I think if we're going to find some answers, I think we've got to go back there.
Actually, it was Soraya that asked the question. I merely suggested that she asked it. If you could please address your answers to.
Sorry, but to Soraya.
Wait, backwards in the ship.
I'll admit that I do find it quite difficult to talk to Soraya. Conversations with her are awkward.
She can hear you.
She knows that. We've discussed it before when no one else has been around, but just we get shy when there's other people around. No, we need to go back, I think. Where are you?
But not forwards.
Always backwards.
We were on the bridge. I was announced and everything.
Should we come find you? Should we do it together?
Yeah, if you want.
Cool. Well,
take it slowly. Don't make a big thing of the entrance though, because Soraya says there's a couple of beefy robots here that she doesn't like the look of.
Okay. Oh, we've just dealt with one anyway. Yeah, it sort of...
Apparently this one is more hench than your one. Well, these two, sorry, are more hench than your one.
Don't tell Stefan. I think he's developed a bit of a taste for it. Yeah, he likes a big beefy boy.
Okay. Well, from where you are entering that corridor, essentially you can see the open door that the others used in order to climb up to the bridge. So you can just follow them straight up that ramp.
Let's go. Come on, guys, let's go. Let's get the crew back together. I know it's not regular, but let's get all together.
The four of you all float up this ramp and into the bridge space to reunite the team of 7 all together in one space for the first time in this whole episode.
Lovely.
And that's where we're going to call it for tonight.
It's fitting. It's so fitting.
It is. Reunited.
Together forever. Thank you, Ben.
And it gives Luke and I a chance to discuss what we're going to do with an actual whole group that isn't split.
Too many options. That's the problem.
So rare.
Combinations of chats. We can have so many conversations. So exciting.
But no, that was great. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you. And thank you, viewers. Stormbender, if you're still here, thank you. John for dropping in. Lee. Anyone else that poked their head around and stayed around, thank you so much. We do appreciate it. Especially nowadays.
Thank you very much.
Twitch is past its zenith for role playing, and we appreciate anyone that still hangs out, and we appreciate you very much. So thank you, Stormbender. Cheers. Hope you enjoyed it. And
thanks very much.
We'll be back tomorrow night. Ben and I think. No idea what yet. We'll work something out. Let's make it a surprise.
We'll do a thing.
We'll do a thing. We'll do something.
A surprise thing.
Ewan won't do a thing because he's out doing other things. The swine.
True.
This doesn't love us.
True.
He doesn't love us as much as Stefan loves a robot.
No, that's true.
Thank you. Right. Yes. Anyway, we're off. I need to go to bed. So good night, everyone. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Toodaloo.
Thank you so much, and good night.
Good night.